Good afternoon, everybody. It's afternoon story time with me, Miss Lynn, and I have somebody else with me today. It's Marley. Marley, can you say hi to everybody? Yes, Marley is, he's a Black Lab mix, and he's been with me for 10 years. He's going to help us read our story. Well, maybe not. I think he's kind of sleepy right now. So our story today is about baseball, MLB, Major League Baseball. His opening day was last week, March 26th. But due to our nation's health, the start of the season will be a bit delayed. But boys and girls, while you're home, keep busy by reading or watching about America's favorite pastime, baseball. So here's a story with facts to get you started. This is H is for home run, a baseball alphabet. Written by Brad Herzog and illustrated by Melanie Rose. This book was copyrighted in 2004, so some of these facts are not up to date for 2020, but it describes a lot of baseball. A is for the All-Stars, baseball's acrobatic aces who throw and catch and hit and run around the bases. A is for Abner Doubleday. Many people believe he invented baseball in 1839 in Cooperstown, New York. In fact, that is why the National Baseball Hall of Fame was located there a century later. Another A is for Hank Aaron. He spent 23 seasons in the major leagues, 21 of them with the Milwaukee and Atlanta Braves. The right-handed hitting outfielder retired in 1976 with a record 755 home runs. Excuse me. B is for the best. Babe Ruth, the New York Yankee great who batted balls toward bleachers at a then unheard of rate. George Herman Babe Ruth was known as the Bambino and the Sultan of SWAT. The burly outfielder slugged 714 homers in his career. His 60 home runs in 1927 were more than a total of 12 different teams. B is also for the bat, the ball, and the bases. C is for clutch cleanup hitters who crush a curveball, crack, and tip their caps for curtain calls, the crowd calling them back. Another C is the cycle, a difficult feat in which a player hits a single, 1-base hit, a double, a 2-base hit, and a triple, 3-base hit, and a home run, a 4-base hit, in the same game. That's the cycle. D is for the playing diamond, a delightful design that gives us daring double plays and doubles down the line. A D is also for a designated hitter, the DH, and since 1973, the American League has used a DH in the lineup to bat in place of the pitcher. In the National League and the Little League, the pitcher bats for himself. E is for an error, a fielder's oops, a mistake, and games and extra innings that keep us, the fans, wide awake. E is also for ERA, which stands for earned run average. It measures the average number of earned runs scored without the benefit of an error, that a pitcher allows per 9 innings. F is for a fly ball floating freely in the air. Who can figure where it falls? It might be foul or fair. F is also a full count. The count is the number of balls and strikes a batter has against him. A full count means 3 balls, pitches out of the strike zone, and 2 strikes, foul balls or pitches in the strike zone. And if the next pitch is ball 4, the batter is awarded a base on balls also called a walk and trots to first base. If the next pitch is a strike, the batter is out. G is for a grand slam, a bases loaded clout that clears the big green monster over, up, and out. The Grand Slam is one of the most dramatic feats in sports. A home run with the bases loaded, runners on first base, second and third bases, scores 4 runs. The Green Monster? Well, that's the famous left field wall in Boston's Fenway Park. It is 37 feet high, 240 feet long, and 310 feet from home plate. And it's painted a special color called fence green. G is also for gloves. The earliest baseball gloves covered only the palm of the hand. In fact, some fielders didn't wear a glove at all. In modern baseball, a player's fielding position determines his glove size. Outfielders' gloves tend to be a bit larger so they can reach even farther. H is for home plate and hitting homers. Wow. Then happy home announcers shout, "A home run! Holy cow!" H is also for helmets. Players wear baseball caps when they are fielding, but hitters, they wear batting helmets for safety. Often, when there is a wild pitch, the helmet prevents serious head injury. I is for the Iron Horse. Lou Gehrig was his name, the youngest man ever elected to the Hall of Fame. Although he was often overshadowed by his teammate, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig was a Hall of Fame first baseman with the New York Yankees. The Iron Horse is best remembered for his amazing endurance streak. From June 2nd, 1925 through May 2nd, 1939, he appeared in 2,130 straight major league games. Whew. J is for Jackie Robinson, who stood for what was right, to judge in someone's talent, not if they're black or white. Another Hall of Fame ball player named Robinson, Frank Robinson, broke barriers too when he was named the player manager of the Cleveland Indians in 1975. He became the first African American to manage a major league team. Lou Gehrig and Jackie Robinson. K is for kids everywhere who keep their baseball cards and kiss the ball goodbye over the fence in their backyards. Baseball cards were first produced nationally in the 1880s when they were printed by tobacco companies. Many people simply like to trade baseball cards with their friends, but others collect them for their value. The most valuable card of all is a 1909 card of Hall of Fame shortstop Honus Wagner. It sold for more than $1 million in the year 2000. K is also a symbol for a strikeout when a fan is keeping score of a baseball game. Using a scorecard, a person can keep track of every play. When scoring a game, a numbering system is used to describe playing positions. Pitcher gets number 1, catcher gets number 2, the first baseman 3, second baseman 4, and so on. L is for our local Little Leaguers lacing up their shoes. It's letting yourself love the game whether you win or lose. Little League Baseball is played mostly by boys and girls between the ages of 9 and 12. M is for the manager, the coach who will not yield until he knows his team is well prepared to take the field. M is also for muscular home run hitters Mark McGwire, Mickey Mantle, and Willie Mays. In 1998, McGwire set a single-season record by hitting 70 homers. Mantle and Mays were both center fielders in New York in the 1950s. They combined to hit 1,196 career home runs. Another M is for the minor leagues, where professional baseball players develop their skills and attempt to make it to the major leagues. There are nearly 200 minor league teams in North America. We're learning a lot about baseball. If you need to take a break, go ahead and hit pause and come right back. We're on N. It's for the national pastime, played in the summer heat. It's a thrilling no-hitter, too, and quite a nifty feat. And is also names and numbers. Numbers on the backs of uniforms didn't become popular until the New York Yankees started using them in 1929. The 1960 Chicago White Sox were the first team to display players' last names on uniforms. Another N is for the Negro Leagues. From the years 1920 to 1960, African American baseball players competed in their own professional leagues, which featured some of the most talented players in the game. Two of the Negro League's greatest stars were home run hitting catcher Josh Gibson and pitcher Leroy Satchel Paige. O is for opening day. Takes place in the spring, when the season starts anew. 3 strikes, you're out. 3 outs per inning, and 3 outfielders, too. Another O is for Sadaro O, who has been called the Japanese Babe Ruth, playing in the Japan League. O hit 868 home runs in his career. P is for a play at the plate. Is he safe or out? And it's for the world's play ball. That's what it's all about. P is also for pinch hitter, when one batter substitutes for another batter in the lineup. Often this happens late in a game when the team needs an important hit. Q is when a base runner moves at a quick pace. Quietly, he has a quest, stealing second base. R is for runs, of course. Scoring is the aim, and it's a relief pitcher trying to save the game. The relief pitcher or reliever replaces a starting pitcher on the mound. Usually it is because the manager thinks a fresh arm will benefit the team. In modern Major League Baseball, certain pitchers are substituted only in late game situations. These pitchers are often called stoppers. Their goal is to maintain a lead in a close game. If they do it, they are awarded a save. Lee Smith holds the Major League record with 478 saves. S can be for stickball played on city streets, a sacrifice, a squeeze play, and summer bleacher seats. S is also for softball, invented in 1887. It's related to baseball. Softball uses most of the rules of baseball, except the balls are larger, the bases are closer together, the games are 7 innings long, as opposed to baseball's 9, and the pitchers throw underhand. T is for T-ball, where many kids learn to field and swing, and T is take me out to the ball game, which all fans love to sing. U is for the umpire, whose uniform is blue. Right or wrong, he makes the calls and misses but a few. And V is for the visiting team, whose uniforms are grayer, and for a fellow voted MVP, most valuable player. Since 1931, the Major League Baseball writers have voted to select the most valuable player in each league. 7 men have won the award 3 times. 1 man has won the National League Most Valuable Player award 6 times. He is a past San Francisco Giant, Barry Bonds, who slugged a record 73 home runs during the 2001 season. W is Wrigley Field, with ivy on the wall and the wondrous World Series, the classic every fall. Wrigley Field, home of the Chicago Cubs, is the oldest ballpark in the National League, dating back to 1914. Its scoreboard is still operated by hand, and it didn't even have permanent lights for night games until 1988. The famous ivy growing on Wrigley Field's outfield wall was planted in the year 1937. W is also for women. The All-American Girls Professional Baseball League existed from 1943 to 1954. More than 600 women competed in the league, which started with 4 teams, but eventually had as many as 10. The rules were slightly different from those of Major League Baseball, including a larger ball and a shorter distance between the bases. X is for the Expos, the team from Montreal, Canada, and the first Canadian club to play Major League Ball. X also marked the spot where Ferguson Jenkins placed his pitches. Jenkins is the only pitcher in Major League history to strike out more than 3,000 batters and walk fewer than 1,000. Although more than 200 Canadian-born players have made it to the major leagues, he is the only Canadian in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. In 2001, Jenkins was named the first commissioner of the Canadian Baseball League, an independent minor league. Y is for pitcher Cy Young, who won and won and won. 511 victories by the time he was done. Y is also for the New York Yankees, the most successful team in Major League history. Babe Ruth led the Yankees to their first championship in 1923, and since then, the team has won nearly 1/3 of all World Series played, 26 championships over 80 years. In 1998, the Yankees won 125 games, including the playoffs, a single season record. Z is for all the zeros, a rare feat with a name. No hits, no runs, no errors. It is a perfect game. The perfect game, pitching a complete game while your team allows no hits, no runs, and no errors, is one of baseball's rarest accomplishments. The first perfect game was pitched by a man named Lee Richmond on June 12, 1880. The second occurred just 5 days later. But over the next 122 years, it officially happened only 13 more times during the regular season. The most famous perfect game ever was the only one pitched during the postseason. Don Larson of the New York Yankees pitched the only perfect game of postseason play. He achieved this feat against the Brooklyn Dodgers in Game 5 of the 1956 World Series. Well, boys and girls, there you have it. A little history, little knowledge of baseball. I hope you enjoyed this. I think Marley enjoyed it too. Well, who knows? He's still asleep. Until next time with Afternoon Story Time with Miss Lynn. Have a great night.